Hello everyone, today we have new video review and this time we're gonna check fresh kit from ICM. As you can see, it is molded in 1/48 scale and it copies Junkers 88. This time it's A4 version of the German bomber due to the World War II time. And of course, first let me remind you that we are still gathering money for the new camera and photo equipment for our video reviews and photo reviews. You can help us by pressing the donate button on our website. It is easy because it is done via PayPal, so of course you decide the amount you would send us, and be sure it will be spent on the proper equipment which will help us improve our video and photo reviews of those kits. So as I said before, this is a new version of the German Junkers 88, and as you can see this time it's A4, it is still in 1/48 scale. We have this nice box art on the front. Here you can see comparison with my hand, it's quite impressive box, but let's not forget that this is a twin engine bomber in 1/48 scale. Here we have some information about the real aircraft and also information about the kit. As you can see, there are 226 parts inside, and wingspan of the assembled model will be 418 millimeters. It's quite impressive even for 1/48 scale. And from the other side we have one of the marking options which you also saw on the box art here. So now let's open it. As you can see, box structure is typical, of course, for ICM. We have cover printed flexible part and also sturdy white cardboard box which should protect all parts inside. All parts, all screws are packed into the same plastic bag, and on the bottom of course we have this assembly manual which we'll check a bit later. First, of course, let's try to see what is hidden here and what we will get in this kit. So just give me a second, we'll check them one by one. And as you saw on the top we had this transparent plastic bag with clear screw. So again I need a second to open it and we will take a closer look. So as you can guess, here we have all clear parts for the canopy and also some of the fuselage segments. Molding quality is really nice. I can zoom in, for example, here on the main section of the canopy, and as you can see it is quite good looking part. Here you can see some other of them. Nevertheless, don't forget that there are no masks included into this kit, so you will have to buy them separately or you will have to cut them with your own hands. Next we have gray plastic sprue, which is, as far as you can guess, specific for A4 version. Here you can see we have machine guns and also some of the external elements. Molding quality is quite nice, and note that each machine gun is placed only on one attachment point, because here we don't have any attachment point for the barrel. It's only serves as a protection against some bumps, as far as you can guess, but the fact is that you will have to cut only one separation, attachment point. Next we have first large gray plastic sprue. Here we have fuselage halves and also some of the fuselage sections. For example, here you can see the belly section. Here we have some of the tail elements, and note that tail wings will have to be assembled out of two halves, and of course there is no tail segment on the fuselage halves. Each of the fuselage halves has nice recessed panel lines. Here you can see them, and of course the same can be seen on those belly panels and also on tail wings. Here I can also show you those interior parts. Of course, for some of you this might be not enough, and you can get some aftermarket sets with PE in order to have a better detailing. Note that inside fuselage halves we have minor cockpit detailing, minor interior detailing, let's say, as well as position pins, which should be important for such big parts. Don't forget the wingspan, which I mentioned earlier, and here you can see comparison of the fuselage half length with my hand. It's really huge aircraft, so position pins must be here, and I'm glad to see them included out of the box. Next we have this plastic sprue. Of course, as you can guess, all those parts are identical and they copy engine gondolas external panels. two propellers. Also here we have the rudders, and this is a tail segment part which should be attached to the fuselage. And inside we have, of course, position pins, because it's the same design as what we saw on the fuselage parts. The same can be seen here for the rudder and for the tail section elements. Next we have another gray plastic sprue. This one is dedicated to, for example, here we can see landing gear elements such as wheels, also some spars which should be inserted inside. But be careful, because as far as I can guess, those engine gondolas halves won't be used for the A4 version, as well as those propellers, because you'll have to use parts which you saw on the previous sprue. But otherwise, molding quality is really nice, and I don't see any possible problems here. Next we have two absolutely identical plastic frames, and as you can guess, those are dedicated to the armament and to engine. I will show only one because they are absolutely similar, and I'm quite surprised to see fully detailed engine in 148 scale kit. I mean, we are all used to see kits without such additions. I mean, now everybody relies on resin additions, but here we have fully detailed engine out of the box, and you can improve it by adding some PE parts, PE wiring, in order to have even more realistic appearance. Then here we have another plastic sprue, landing gear legs, also elevators and ailerons, some of the landing gear parts. Everything is present here, and note that even though some parts are really tiny, they're carefully molded, they don't have any flash around them, so it should be easy to cut them and to use them on your aircrafts. Nevertheless, I'll recommend to be careful with elements like this, for example, because it can be easy to break them and then to have problems when you will try to repair them, of course. And last gray plastic sprue is dedicated to those wing parts. Note that each wing should be assembled out of two halves, and of course then you'll add separate engine gondolas. Also here we have the same type of the external detailing as what we saw on the fuselage, so recessed panel lines and carefully replicated hatches. Inside we have position pins, as you can see, and again it's a must-have here, because otherwise it will be tricky to get those two halves together. And note that wing edges will also serve as the guiding elements during assembly. Again, molding quality is good, and I don't see any possible issues here. Next we have, just give me a second, because we need to remove assembly manual out of the box, and here it is. Assembly manual is printed in typical ICM style, so it is printed in color. We have two short history notes in Russian and English, technical specifications, paints chart, then we have here parts map. Note that, as I said, on this large frame we want to use engine gondolas, tail segment parts and propellers. Also here we have decals. These are printed on this one decals sheet. Printing quality is really nice, and note that even stencils are included here, and we have some decals for the dashboard as well, so it should be at least some detailing in your cockpit if you decide to build out of the box aircraft. Of course, nobody stops you from adding aftermarket PE to your model. And now we can proceed to assembly process. As you can see, of course, it starts with cockpit, we continue with tail landing gear leg, we join fuselage halves, then we assemble everything on the belly panel, we attach it to the fuselage as well, wing parts, then we attach wings and tail segment to the fuselage. And here we have separately molded ailerons and flaps. And then what follows is a quite interesting section which is dedicated to landing gear legs and also to the engine. Here you can see that there is one page dedicated only to the engine assembly. Next we have engine installation into the gondolas, then we have gondolas joining with wings, Then we have canopy parts installation, propellers, armament, separate doors, bomb bay, and then we continue with rear section of the canopy, and in total you will have to perform 102 steps in order to get your aircraft assembled and ready to be painted. Here you can see these are stenciling guides, and next we have painting guide, which is printed in color. As you can see, we have here first marking option, second marking option, third and fourth. So in total there are 4 marking options, which is quite nice for 1/48 scale kit. And that's pretty much all for this video review. I don't see any other possible bonuses inside the box, but nevertheless this kit should be already available for purchase. You can get it, for example, from Madelimex. And of course I will be happy to hear your opinion about German twin-engined aircrafts. Have you ever assembled such aircraft? Write it here in the comment section below, and of course if you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel because it will help us greatly as well. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye!